7:16 on a Monday, the first Monday of the month. Fred, White and Blue with Fred Ramey from Searcy, Arkansas. Sir, good morning.
Good morning, Dale. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, sounding good. Yeah.
Wonderful. I'm having a few phone issues here this morning, but I think we got it worked out.
Sounds good. So how you been?
All right. Doing good. Did you have a good Easter?
Very good. Very
well,
good. Yeah.
We did too. I tell you, we had an overflow crowd yesterday, and it was just wonderful. I wish we could have that every week.
Be nice, wouldn't it?
Yes, it would. I certainly, of course, our pastor took the opportunity to tell everyone, if you don't have a church home, we'd love to have you here, and certainly every week. And but we get those crowds about twice a year. But boy, it sure would be nice to have them every week.
It would be.
Which is really, Dale, that's my topic this morning. Is you and I talked online earlier. Have you been noticing here in the past few months how there seems to be a greater interest in religious issues, or is that just me?
Well, it seems like it's in the forefront.
Yeah.
Mainly I'm gonna let you talk. I've got my opinion, but I want to hear your take on it first.
Well, of course, I know there's been some stuff going on down at the legislature, but I'm talking about just a real genuine interest in religious issues, and I think a lot of that is what is driving that. It's a lot of news that we're hearing out of the Middle East, and a lot of this negotiation with Iran that's going on, and I just think I think they're all kind of related. Netanyahu's been in the news a lot lately. Of course, he's Prime Minister of Israel. He spoke to Congress a few weeks back, and I think that is sort of rekindled an interest in U.S.-Israeli relations, and also all things historical about Israel and about the Bible. And I think it's just really rekindled a tremendous interest in the Bible. And there was a television show came on last night. It was called A.D. Did you catch that on TV last night?
I think haven't they run that as a series?
I believe it is going to be a series. I'm not sure, but I believe that's right.
Yeah, I've been seeing ads for it quite a bit.
Yeah, I know. We got home from church last night, and Lauren, my oldest, she reminded me of it. She said, "I want to watch that." So we sat down and watched that together, and it was interesting. It was pretty, close to being what I would consider accurate. But I mean, they took, of course, you can't know every word that was ever uttered back then, but they had a lot of filler and a lot of things that kind of filled in the blanks, but that was kind of artistic freedom there. But still, I think it was pretty accurate. But I've noticed here, and Dale, in the last probably 2 or 3 weeks, I've had people come up to me that are not particularly religious people that have been asking religious questions, asking about spiritual questions, asking about Israel and what my opinion is on the relationship with our country and Israel. A lot of people are taking interest in what's going on in Iran, or with Iran rather. A lot of people, just this past week, Dale, we've seen in Kenya where there was some Muslim extremists that broke into a university over there and killed, I think it was 147 Christian students. I think people are just really interested about what's going on, and I think they're really beginning to have a spiritual awakening in America. I think it's coming, Dale. I got a feeling about that.
I do too, and maybe it's a good thing, I hope.
Well, it could be, and sometimes, it takes a little bit of persecution to get people off the couch. It really does. But there's just so many things going on. I remember I was during the 1980s, 70s and 80s. I kind of got to be a teenager in the 80s. And, one of the big things that was always discussed back then was, the Cold War, the nuclear standoff between the United States and Russia, possibly. And that kind of went away in the early 90s. But Dale, with all this going on in the Middle East right now, I think a lot of people are starting to get worried about that again. And we've got people over there negotiating on behalf of the United States that I just don't feel they have our best interest at heart. It's sad whenever you can't agree with your own administration. You're agreeing with the administration of a foreign country like Israel. Yeah. And I far more agree with Netanyahu on the Middle Eastern issues than I do my own administration. So,
did you see in the newspaper yesterday where the GOP cash flow has increased for those that support Israel?
I did. I saw that. I sure do. And one thing that I've always found interesting is why so many of the Jewish, organizations support the other party. I never did quite understand that. But I noticed that article yesterday. Of course, I think a lot of that's coming from Christian churches towards the GOP. But it is going to be an issue. And Dale, this is going to be something that will define probably the next 10 to 15 years at a time when our children and grandchildren are coming of age. I've got one, my oldest, she's wanting to join the military.
Mm-hmm.
And so she may very well have to fight this fight.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something that is on the forefront of everybody's mind. And she's particularly probably the most religious of all my kids. She's very spiritual, and she follows these issues overseas and what's going on with Israel and the United States, and she's following these talks with Iran, and she sees the connection, and it's a lot of seem to be Bible prophecy unfolding.
Yeah, it really does.
It really
and when
does.
the light bulb comes on in your mind's eye, like, ooh,
yeah, it's
like, hey, this is really happening here,
It sure seems that way, Dale. And I've had many people in probably the last month, 2 months, that have brought up that very thing. And again, they're not what I would consider particularly religious people. In fact, one of them told me, he said, I hadn't been to church in 20 years. But he's starting to see that, maybe there's something to this.
Yeah.
And he and I were able to have a really good talk about it. So that's, like you said, Dale, that it may be a good thing. That
true.
These issues are coming up to where it's given us an opportunity to have a bit of a platform. And certainly Christians are going to have to, if they believe what they say they believe, they need to get off the couch.
Do you think we have a lot of uncaring, unaware folks in the churches? I hear a lot of, oh, well, that's how it is now. Oh, well, like can't do anything about it. Oh, well.
Well, I don't think it's uncaring. I think it may be uninformed or just kind of a lackadaisical attitude towards it. It's like, well,
or this too may pass.
Yeah, this too may pass. Well, that's Bible prophecy. There's nothing we can do about it, and it's just it is what it is. It's going to unfold and on a world stage, and we just will be along for the ride. But that's not what Christ called us to do. That's not what the Easter message was about. The Easter message is about getting out and telling people about the Lord and spreading the gospel. That's what it was all about.
Yeah.
Not to keep it to ourselves. And these holidays like Easter and Christmas are the two biggest evangelical opportunities that Christians have, because it comes around twice a year, 2 holidays a year, where people are actually receptive to hearing what it's all about. And to remain silent during those times especially is wrong, in my opinion.
Yeah, I hear you. But do we do a good job as Christian people of all faiths to welcome those into the church and or welcome them back, perhaps?
Well, no, I don't think we do. I think sometimes we can be, in some cases, a little self-righteous, and in some cases, just a little bit.
I've actually seen people get upset because the visitors set their spot in the pew. Well, I know reason been sitting there for 35 years.
Yeah, what's up with this? Yeah, oh my goodness, I've seen that too, and it drives me crazy. It is rare. It is very rare. Mm-hmm. And it does happen, but that's very rare. And people focus on that and say, well, somebody offended me, so I'm not going to be back. Well, I bet you get offended at work occasionally too, but do you not show up for work?
Oh yeah.
So there you go. Dale, it's if you're engaged in society, you're going to be offended at some point about something. Yeah. So, but yeah, it happens. But I think the church is really starting to step up their game on spreading the word and recruitment and membership drives.
And come as you are.
Yeah, come as you are. we've been doing a lot of. I say we. Our church has been. I've not. I've only participated in one of them so far. We've been doing a lot of block parties here lately.
Oh yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Throw a party on the parking lot, get a little bouncy house, cook out, and just invite everybody within everybody in town. And we have people show up that would have never come to one of our services.
Yeah, we had something like that on Saturday at my church. So several of the churches in the community did, and people were just. I mean, every church had a great attendance on these functions.
Yeah. We've had that success here in Searcy. Yeah. I mean, we've had probably 3-4 times people showing up on Sunday night than normally would. But they'd show up for the block party. They'd bring their kids up here, and they'd stay and mingle and give the adults time to talk to the parents and the kids time to play, and the youth ministry time to work with them and reach them.
Yep. Final thoughts, about 30 seconds here, Fred. And appreciate you calling in on the first half of the show today. And we look forward, you'll be back on May 4th. But your final thoughts.
All right, looking forward to it. Well, final thoughts today, again, going back to the Easter message. He lives, Dale, and he does live, and he did rise again, and we do need to, as Christians, need to spread that message and maybe take the sign of the times and the current events and use it to our advantage to win people to Christ.
Amen to that. Fred Ramey, Fred White and Blue. We'll have this online by about 8:30 today, Fred.
Thank you, Dale.
We'll see you next week. Thanks, Fred. Fred White and Blue, Fred Ramey. Time for the news. Be right back.